Prepare to embark on a fascinating and little-known story from ancient times. Imagine an ordinary man, without any apparent advantages, who sets out to face an almost unimaginable challenge: to run faster than the king's swiftest horses. This extraordinary episode not only left everyone astonished at the time, but continues to evoke admiration and curiosity today. How is it possible for a mere mortal to surpass the royal steeds in speed? Today, we will unravel this mystery and discover the secret behind this incredible feat. Stay with us, for the story we are about to share is one of the most surprising and inspiring ever recorded in ancient history. In an era marked by intense religious and political disputes in Israel, an extraordinary figure emerged who challenged both the rulers and the idols of that time. This man, guided by a divine force, performed feats that still leave us perplexed. In the book of 1 Kings, specifically in chapter 18, we witness one of the most remarkable chapters of his journey. After a tense confrontation with the prophets of Baal, he not only proved his spiritual power but also demonstrated an unbelievable physical capability. This event not only redefined history but also strengthened the faith of an entire people. Let us explore how he managed to accomplish what seemed impossible to many. To better understand the magnitude of this feat, we need to look at the historical context in which he lived. At that time, Israel was ruled by King Ahab and Queen Jezebel, who encouraged the worship of the pagan god Baal, causing great division among the people. Baal, considered the god of fertility and storms, was worshipped through rituals that contradicted divine laws. Spiritual and moral decay was rampant, and the true God of Israel seemed forgotten. It was in this tumultuous and challenging scenario that a powerful prophet emerged, called by God to revive the faith and obedience of the Israelites. His mission was to confront the false idols and prove that only the Lord was the true God. This backdrop of religious and political conflict prepares us for the incredible event we will explore. Elijah, the prophet designated by God, confronted the prophets of Baal in an epic battle on Mount Carmel. He proposed a definitive challenge. Both sides would prepare a sacrifice on an altar, but without lighting a fire. The true God would respond by sending fire from heaven to consume the sacrifice. For hours, from morning until noon, the prophets of Baal cried out, danced, and mutilated themselves seeking an answer, but nothing happened. There was no response, no sign of fire, just emptiness. Meanwhile, Elijah taunted them, suggesting perhaps their God was asleep or busy. In the afternoon, Elijah took the initiative to gather the people and began to rebuild the Lord's altar that had been destroyed. He used 12 stones, each symbolizing one of the tribes of Israel, to set up the structure. Around the altar, Elijah dug a deep trench. He then placed the wood, arranged the sacrifice on it, and made an unusual request: to fill 4 jars with water and pour it all over the altar, repeating the process 3 times until the water completely soaked the sacrifice and overflowed, filling the trench. With all eyes fixed on him, Elijah lifted a prayer to heaven. "O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are the true God in Israel, that I am your servant and have done all these things at your command. Answer me, Lord, answer me, so that these people will know that you, O Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again." As soon as Elijah finished praying, fire from heaven descended with overwhelming force, consuming the burnt offering, the wood, the stones, the soil, and even the water in the trench. Witnessing this miracle, the people fell in reverence and proclaimed loudly, "The Lord is God! The Lord is God!" This event not only unequivocally demonstrated the power of the true God, but also exposed the impotence of the idols, thus revitalizing the faith of all Israel. After the thrilling climax on Mount Carmel, Elijah still had a task to complete. He approached King Ahab with a new prediction. The long drought that had plagued Israel for 3 years was about to end. "Go, eat, and drink, for there is the sound of a heavy rain," he told the king. While Ahab went off to celebrate, Elijah climbed back to the top of Mount Carmel, this time to meditate and pray in solitude. Bowed with his face between his knees, he prayed fervently, awaiting the promised sign from God. He instructed his servant to look toward the sea 7 times. Each time, except the last, the servant returned with no news. On the seventh time, however, he saw a small cloud, no bigger than a man's hand, rising from the sea. To Elijah, this was a clear sign that the awaited rain was on its way. Quickly, he sent his servant to run to Ahab and advise him to prepare his chariot and leave before the rain hindered their travel. With his heart pounding at the imminence of the miracle, Elijah prepared for yet another extraordinary act of faith, ready to demonstrate once more the magnitude of divine power. As Ahab prepared to depart in his chariot pulled by the best horses, Elijah, moved by a divine force, positioned himself to run. The small cloud on the horizon was the harbinger of the imminent storm, and he had warned the king to hasten his departure before being detained by the rain. Ahab relied on the speed and endurance of his horses to take him back to Jezreel. On the other hand, Elijah prepared for a remarkable demonstration of physical strength. He was not just a prophet endowed with spiritual power. He was about to show a superhuman physical capability. What followed was truly a miracle. With each step, Elijah was propelled by unshakable faith and a divine purpose. He ran not only with his own strength, but also with the divine energy that empowered him. Imagine this scene. A man who, to the naked eye, seemed ordinary, surpassing the king's swiftest horses, driven not by physical training but by the depth of his faith and his heavenly mission. Elijah did not just run. He flew over the terrain, proving that with God, all things are possible. This display of power was not only to showcase Elijah's physical ability, but to reaffirm the power of the God of Israel, capable of empowering his servants in unimaginable ways. Elijah's run to Jezreel became a tangible testament to the divine power working through his faithful. The distance to Jezreel, about 25 kilometers, was dotted with rugged terrain, steep hills, and difficult trails. With the storm rapidly approaching, the ground became slippery and visibility reduced. For any ordinary person, running under these conditions would be a tremendous challenge, but Elijah was driven by a divine mission. As he advanced, the wind picked up and the first raindrops began to fall, turning the path into a muddy track. However, each new obstacle only reinforced his determination. Elijah did not slow down. On the contrary, he continued running with impressive strength and agility. The adversities only intensified the ongoing miracle. Moving forward through the forming storm, Elijah continued his epic run, guided by divine strength. The landscape around him constantly changed under the storm, but his speed and focus remained steadfast. What would be impossible for anyone else, Elijah achieved with precision and confidence, overcoming the challenges of the terrain and demonstrating that, with divine help, it is possible to transcend any barrier. King Ahab, guiding his chariot pulled by the finest horses, was perplexed to see Elijah running ahead. The chariot, designed for maximum speed and efficiency, should have easily outpaced any runner on foot. Yet, Elijah, sustained by a divine force, not only kept pace with the vehicle but also surpassed it. For Ahab, this sight was more than surprising. It was undeniable evidence of God's power manifested through Elijah. Observers, including servants and members of the royal entourage, were astonished by the scene before them. A common man challenging and outpacing the best horses of the kingdom. On all faces, expressions of amazement and admiration were evident. This extraordinary display of Elijah's endurance and speed highlighted not only his incredible physical capacity, but also solidified his authority as a prophet of the true God. The race became a powerful testimony for all present, reaffirming that the God of Israel was with him, endowing him with supernatural strength. This event had a profound impact on everyone who witnessed it, leaving a lasting impression of divine power. Arriving in Jezreel before Ahab, Elijah demonstrated that the divine strength propelling him surpassed that of the king's horses. His arrival was not just a physical achievement, but also a potent spiritual declaration. Reaching the gates of Jezreel after a long journey under extreme conditions, Elijah confirmed something that would have been impossible without divine intervention. His early arrival surprised not only Ahab, but also all who witnessed the feat. The city, anxiously awaiting the king's return and the news of the imminent rain, was first greeted by the solitary figure of Elijah, bearer of the testimony of God's power. This moment signified more than the victory of divine power over human capabilities. It also symbolized the beginning of a new era of faith and hope for the people of Israel. Elijah's impressive run not only validated his position as God's prophet, but also emphasized the urgency and importance of his message. It represented a living proof that, by aligning with divine will, we are capable of transcending human limits. The strength and speed with which Elijah moved, driven by God's power, were a clear manifestation that miracles are possible through the Lord's faithful servants. For the people of Israel, Elijah's feat was an overwhelming reminder that God was present and active in their lives, always ready to intervene in extraordinary ways. Elijah's miraculous race against the king's horses became a source of inspiration and faith, a vivid example that complete trust in God can empower us to achieve unimaginable feats. To this day, the story of how Elijah outpaced the king's fastest horses continues to inspire generations, emphasizing the transformative power of faith and God's ability to work miracles through his faithful servants. The narrative of Elijah leaving King Ahab's horses behind transcends mere physical demonstration. It offers valuable lessons about faith, obedience, and divine power. Elijah placed his trust not in his own strength, but in the strength granted to him by God. He understood that to execute the divine will, it was necessary to fully surrender to the Lord. This degree of faith and dependence on God is an ideal to which we can all aspire. Reflecting on this account, we realize that Elijah demonstrates what is possible when we are in alignment with God's purposes. His emblematic race was not simply a test of speed, but a symbol of the urgency and importance of the divine message. Elijah teaches us that, despite challenges and adversities, maintaining faith in God can lead us to surpass the unthinkable. Moreover, Elijah's journey serves as a powerful reminder that God is always by our side, ready to strengthen and guide us along our path. When we face challenges in our lives, we can find inspiration in Elijah's story, who, with the strength granted by God, managed to run ahead of the fastest horses. That same divine strength is accessible to all of us when we fully trust in God and follow His daily guidance. By applying the principles of this story to our lives, trusting God in all circumstances and submitting to His will, we pave the way to witness miracles and achieve remarkable feats. Elijah's race is not just a tale of the past. It is an eternal testimony of what is possible when we possess unwavering faith and obey God. May this story motivate us to seek a deeper connection with God, trusting that He will guide and strengthen us in all aspects of our lives. May we run our own races with the same faith and determination as Elijah, convinced that with God, all things are possible. Leave your comments on this topic, respect others' opinions, and share your reflections. If you found value in this video, support our channel by subscribing so you don't miss our future content. Share this video with your family and friends, leave your like and your comment. Your participation helps expand our reach and enlighten more minds. Thank you for being here, and may God bless you.